Absolutely not. I think this is the typical American belief that Chinese companies, because they are copycats and they're of protectionism, they can only succeed in their country. On the contrary, the Chinese companies are now vigorously going abroad. I do see sort of two internets form, but it will not be China and the rest of the world. It will be China and countries that adopt Chinese apps and countries that adopt American apps. I think you can look at it at the 5G level, at the server level, at the phone level, at the cloud level, and at the apps level, at the AI level. Now, our investment expertise is in the mobile apps and the AI level, and I can assure you the Chinese apps are probably a little bit more innovative than the American apps right now. And while Chinese apps will have a hard time getting adopted in US and Europe and English-speaking countries, I think they're proving their rapid acceptance in India, Southeast Asia, South America, Middle East, and even a little bit in Africa. So I think in 5 years, if you look at all the people in the world and took their phone and counted how many American apps and Chinese apps, I'd say it will be 50-50.
Very interesting. Is that good or bad?
I don't know. There's good things and bad things about it. Having one country be the supreme leader forms a unified platform and consistent experience, but it also gives too much power to one country or company, and more competition is good. So one can argue either way, but I think it is an unavoidable thing, so we have to accept it and make the best of it.
What we have seen in this current macro environment, shall we say, is the US blocking companies from China, like Huawei, and the Chinese market is shut off to a lot of foreign companies right there. There's only a handful of American technology companies operating there, Apple, Microsoft, for example. If this trade spat continues, do you expect that China could do what the US does and completely block out, even kick out some of the American companies that are there currently?
Well, that's more of a political question, not something I'm an expert to understand. I would rather see more free trade both ways. I think that's good for both countries, but I think the current disputes are at a political level, not technical level, so what I wish for really doesn't count.
I do want to get your take, though, on the foreign companies attempting to get into China, because China is still seen as like a holy grail for many US tech companies, and there were reports that Google was potentially going to launch back into China again. Just putting on your old hat, do you think that would be a good idea?
Well, keep in mind, no one ever got the Holy Grail, so it's a fine aspiration, but it might be a quixotic effort that will never succeed. I think precisely because China has become in a very its own silo of users, brands, companies, expectations, trusts, and Chinese users' habits are very strongly formed about using WeChat for its uses and Alipay and so on. I think to change the habit will be hard. It's really not about protectionism. The reverse question would be, do you think a product like Taobao is good? Of course it's good, right? They achieved tens of billions of dollars of sales in one day. And can they possibly enter US and challenge Amazon? Of course not. That's not due to protectionism. It's due to consumer habits and preferences that makes it very hard for any one company from China to go to the US and vice versa, not even considering government regulations, but just user expectations and habits.
So Google would find it tough to re-enter the Chinese market?
They would.
Still watching? Perfect. Click here to watch another great video from CNBC International. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching.